What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Red Reviews. It's me once again, Vincent Rojas, and today I will be reviewing the Super Mario Bros. Movie. First off, this movie is fun and enjoyable above all else. This movie's job is to be fun, and I believe it does that job perfectly. It's not a masterpiece that's going to revolutionize the way we view cinema, but it is as good as it needed to be. And it really needed to be good after the 1993 Mario movie starring Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, which is a masterpiece in my book. But all jokes aside, this movie really needed to do well in order for Nintendo to open the door for more of their franchises to be made into movies, such as Metroid or The Legend of Zelda. I was initially worried when I saw that this movie was going to be made by Illumination because they tend to make movies that I usually don't enjoy very much. But I'm glad to say that all of my worries were cast aside as I saw this movie because I can't deny that I had a wonderful time in the theater watching this movie. Now, it sits at a 56% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 96% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, which is very telling. Audiences like this movie a lot more than critics did. And I'm part of the camp that believes that the critics score for this movie is completely undeserved. I think that this movie deserves way better than a 56%, and it really was a very enjoyable time for me. I think if you're a casual moviegoer, you're going to love this movie, especially if you're a big Mario fan. This movie is short and sweet. It's a cool 93 minutes long, and it keeps your attention without being overstuffed or bloated with pointless filler. Not to mention that it looks gorgeous. The animation looks really good. And Illumination is known for making movies that look like they have really high quality animation without really actually spending a lot of money. But that doesn't change the fact that this movie does look really good from an animation standpoint. The plot is simple, like a Mario game is, but it didn't need to be an overly complex plot with layers upon layers of character development. In fact, the characters in this movie are pretty much exactly the same from the start of the movie to the very end. But that's fine because I didn't really want a super complicated plot for the Mario movie. I just wanted a fun time, and that's exactly what I got, so I'm very happy. Shigeru Miyamoto famously dislikes stories in games, and you can kind of tell by watching this movie and seeing how simple the plot is, but again, that's not really a negative. Addressing the controversy with the voice cast, I would like to put my 2 cents in and say that the cast really does work for this movie. Chris Pratt as Mario did a way better job than I anticipated. He does a Brooklyn accent in this movie that's distinct from Mario's classic Italian accent, which I think is a good thing because it would get annoying if the Italian accent spanned the movie's entire runtime. But the accent also doesn't really sound like Chris Pratt playing himself, which I appreciated. Jack Black as Bowser is absolute perfection. Bowser was done perfectly, and he was my favorite character in the movie, and that's all I'm gonna say. Charlie Day also, I thought, embodied Luigi pretty well. And the voice work overall ranges from pitch perfect to pretty good to serviceable, which is the level that I would place Seth Rogen's voice work as Donkey Kong at. I thought he was fine for what the movie needed him to be, but he was definitely the weak link in the voice cast for me. The remixed Koji Kondo tracks in this movie are absolutely beautiful. It pays respect to the classic Mario Bros. Games tunes in a very lovely way, and they're smartly implemented into the movie, I thought, from ringtones to trumpet fanfare, and they're really a joy to hear on the big screen. Now, what's not a joy to hear is the use of the licensed music in this movie. And other critics have already mentioned how out of place the licensed music feels in this movie, and I have to say I completely agree. I think that the movie could have been a lot better without the use of the licensed music, and it really took me out of the experience, which is sad. It was really jarring to hear music, which is mostly 80s rock for some reason, in the Mario movie. Moving on, this movie is chock full of Easter eggs, and I won't spoil any of them here, but just know that fans are definitely gonna pour over this movie to find all of them. While I'm pretty sure I didn't find every Easter egg in this movie, I'm confident I found a good bit of them, and there's even one reference to a Nintendo franchise that made my heart leap for joy, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's towards the end of the movie, and it was just so cool to see. Overall, this movie is a great time with family. I think it's enjoyable enough that you won't be checking your watch to see how much is left. And while the critics seem to hate this movie, audiences seem to love it. And so, as I said before, I think if you're a casual moviegoer, especially if you're a Mario fan, you're going to love this movie. Also, if you have kids, I think that they're going to love this movie. I mean, it's Mario. Everybody's heard of Mario. Also, quick side note here. If they ever decide to make a sequel to this movie, which, let's face it, they probably will, it would be absolute perfection if they called it the new Super Mario Bros. Movie. I mean, that would just be so great. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you so much for watching. This is my second ever video. The first one did pretty good. So we're going to see how long this goes. We're going to see how long I can keep this up. Alright guys, go have a nice day. What's left of it. Peace.